Step out of the car. Freeze. You hear me, you black piece of trash. Officer K. Miller's shout cut through the calm afternoon like a blade. His Glock was aimed squarely at Amina Jackson's face, his knuckles white around the grip. She froze, caught mid-step, 1 foot still on the curb outside Green Mart. A grocery bag slipped from her arm, sending oranges bouncing and a can of beans clinking against her shoe. I didn't do anything, she said, voice unsteady. Her cell phone, still wedged between her ear and shoulder, slid down and clattered to the ground. Hands up, Miller bellowed, eyes wild. Now, Amina raised her arms slowly, trying not to provoke him. Officer, I just bought groceries. Look, my receipt. Shut up, he barked. You fit the description. Robbery at the liquor store. 5 blocks away. I didn't rob anything. Please, check the security footage, she said. I'm a graphic designer. I work 2 blocks from here. But Miller wasn't listening. He grabbed her wrist and shoved her face first onto the hood of his patrol car. The metal was scorching. She winced as the cuffs clicked around her wrists that a small crowd began to gather, murmuring, unsure whether to step in or stay quiet. A child clutched her mother's leg. An elderly woman moved toward the fallen phone and picked it up gently. Inside the patrol car, Amina sat stiffly, sweat dripping down her neck. Her eyes scanned the crowd. She spotted the woman dialing her phone. The woman nodded and said something, presumably into the receiver. Officer Miller strutted to the center of the scene like an actor on stage. He held up the crumpled receipt Amina had offered. Nice try. She's no angel, folks, he said. These people always think they're smarter than the rest of us. Amina closed her eyes, fury and shame clawing at her chest. Still, she wouldn't cry. You think dressing nice and talking proper changes who you are? Miller sneered, pacing in front of the crowd. Let me guess, you're going to pull the race car next? Huh? It's because I'm black, right? A couple of men chuckled nervously. A teenage girl raised her phone, quietly recording. You people think this is your neighborhood now, Miller growled, gesturing toward the store. But we've got law and order, not your made-up justice. Just then, the elderly woman stepped forward. Her voice was steady, but her eyes trembled with concern. Officer, she said she's innocent. She wasn't even running. She dropped her groceries. Back up, lady. Miller snapped. This is a police matter. At that moment, the screech of tires shattered the heat-soaked silence, and a black SUV slammed to a stop inches from the patrol car. The driver's door burst open. A tall, broad-shouldered man stepped out. Sharp dark suit, no tie, polished black shoes that clicked like warnings against the pavement. Officer Miller's posture stiffened, ever so slightly. The man didn't speak immediately. His presence commanded silence. His eyes, dark and unforgiving, locked onto Miller. Amina, watching from the back seat, felt her breath catch. She knew that walk, that stance, that fury held in check by the tight grip of control. Sir, you need to step back, Miller said, voice tight, uncertain. The man said coldly. And then, in one clean, calculated motion, he grabbed Miller by the collar and slammed him against the hood of the squad car. Gas rang out. Phones came out. The crowd surged forward slightly, tension exploding like static in the air. What the hell are you doing with my wife? The man growled, eyes burning. Miller struggled in his grip. Let go. This is assault. You call this justice? He hissed, voice low and lethal. Handcuffing a woman over groceries? Humiliating her without evidence. I had a report. She matched the description. Black woman, alone, in a parking lot. That's all it took. The crowd murmured. Louder now. Phones raised, the line between witness and reckoning blurring. You proud of yourself, officer? The man continued. Mocking her in public? Calling her trash? She's a U.S. citizen, a professional, and you treated her like dirt. Miller twisted, panicked, reaching for his radio. Backup needed. You won't need backup. You'll need a damn lawyer. The man snapped, slamming him back once more. The elderly woman clutched her chest, stunned, eyeing the patrol car. Amina leaned forward, a tear finally sliding down her cheek. But it wasn't from fear this time. It was relief. Not just that her husband had come, but that someone, anyone, was finally calling out the truth in daylight. The crowd pressed closer. Sirens began to wail in the distance. Another squad car was coming. But this wasn't over. Not yet. Miller swallowed hard as the man's grip tightened around his collar. "Let go of me, or I'm calling backup." "Do it. Call whoever you want," the man said calmly, his quiet menace far more frightening than any shout. Miller finally wrenched free, gasping for air, his face flushed with sweat and shock. He stumbled back, then looked closely at the man before him, his confident posture, the sharp suit, the expensive watch. Recognition flickered in Miller's eyes. "Wait, sir." The man cut him off coldly. "I don't care if you know who I am. Listen carefully. You're going to pay for what you did. Legally, professionally, and publicly. You didn't just handcuff her. You humiliated her, treated her like dirt. That ends now." Miller took a step back, fear replacing his earlier bravado. The man walked to the patrol car, pulled a card from his jacket, and swiped it through the electronic lock. The door clicked open. Miller stood frozen, dumbfounded. "How did you?" Ignoring him, the man reached inside and helped Amina out, her wrists still cuffed. He looked at her with tenderness that made her catch her breath. "My love," he whispered, pulling her into a warm embrace that seemed to shield her from the world. For the first time since the ordeal began, Amina trembled but finally let herself breathe. It was as if a dam had broken, releasing all the fear she'd held inside. "As long as I'm here," he said softly in her ear, "no one will ever touch you like that again. I swear it." Amina clung to him, eyes closed, while Miller watched, pale and defeated, realizing he'd lost control. The man turned back to Miller. "Take off the cuffs." Miller hesitated, stunned. "What are you waiting for?" His voice was low, deadly serious, slicing through the silence. Shaking, Miller fumbled with the handcuff key, finally unlocking them with a metallic click. Amina didn't move, staring at the ground, still processing the moment. When the cuffs dropped, the man calmly handed them back. "Keep these. You'll need them where you're going." Miller had no words. The crowd watched in silence, their eyes full of anger and disbelief. The man scanned the onlookers. "Who called?" An elderly woman stepped forward, clutching her purse nervously. Her silver hair was tied back neatly, and her clothes were simple. "I did," she said quietly but firmly. "I saw what he was doing. I couldn't just stand by. It wasn't right." The man approached her respectfully, Amina close behind. The woman's eyes shimmered with emotion. "Thank you," Amina said softly, squeezing her hand. "Thank you for not looking away." The man smiled with genuine gratitude. "You don't realize what you did today. This city is full of people who record but never act. You acted." The woman blushed, a faint smile touching her lips. "I grew up in a different time. I saw things I vowed never to allow again. I'm just glad I got here in time." Amina, still trembling, embraced the woman gently. "If it weren't for you, I'd be locked up now for something I didn't do." The woman patted her back like a mother soothing a child. "You're strong. I saw it in your eyes. But even the strong need someone to say enough." The patrol car sat silent, a stark reminder of injustice. Miller slumped against it, avoiding all eye contact. Murmurs spread through the crowd, some filming him with their phones. The man pulled out his phone, dialing quickly. "Stop everything. Send me the Green Mart parking lot security footage from the last 30 minutes, and dispatch internal affairs immediately." He hung up without waiting. He turned to Miller again. "Do you know who you mess with?" Miller said nothing, backing away slowly toward his car, defeated and exposed. In the distance, flashing lights appeared. Another patrol car arrived, not for Amina, but for internal affairs. Someone was coming to clean up the mess Miller had made. The man in the suit took Amina's hand firmly, yet gently, fingers intertwined. He looked at her with a tenderness that seemed to say the world could breathe again now she was safe. "Let's go home," he whispered. "This isn't your fight anymore. It belongs to the law and to me." Amina nodded, standing tall, dignity intact. No words were needed. Before leaving, they approached the elderly woman again. The man handed her a business card, the gold-embossed name shining in the fading light. "If you ever need anything at all, call me. I won't forget what you did." The woman looked at the card, then back up at him recognition dawning. He wasn't just any lawyer. He was the one who made judges tremble, the man who shook entire departments to their core. The same man now thanking her for her courage. "Thank you, son," she said quietly, a peaceful smile on her lips. "I just did what was right." They got into the black SUV. The crowd began to disperse, whispers and videos already spreading the scandal like wildfire. No one would soon forget what Officer Miller had done, or whom he had wronged. As the sun set behind the city buildings, Amina rested her head on her husband's shoulder. "You made me feel safe," she whispered. "And you always will be," he replied, gently stroking her hair. "Always." The SUV pulled away, leaving the scene and the nightmare behind.